So I want to discuss the distance you have from the toe line to the ball, or your distance from the ball. And as you saw with the Feeling of Greatness Training Club, I'm able to check that. When I set up with this club, I'm able to put the club on the ground, and this red indication, this red line here, indicates it on the proper distance from the ball. But as you know, this is the 6-iron training club. That gets me about 26 inches from the golf ball. But you're going to have the question, when you're using your clubs and you have all different lengths of clubs, how do you know you're the correct distance from the ball? I think this question is one of the toughest questions I have to answer because of all the variables involved. But one of the biggest variables involved with distance from the ball is actually the equipment that you're hitting. You know, people come to me and their clubs don't fit them. And so I tell them to be a certain distance from the ball, because distance from the ball is I'm looking for the proper posture of the body. It's really not about distance from the ball. It's about, can your body be in the ideal posture? So I'm trying to get a 6-iron to be about 45 degrees of forward bend, which means a wedge is about 40 this way, and a driver is up to 50, depending how you measure it. Some people would measure that as 40, that is 50 and 45, depending how you're measuring the axis. But so a wedge is closer to the ground a little bit, 6-iron, and then driver. So there's about a 10-degree variance in your posture between your wedge and your driver. The problem is when people bring their clubs to me and they're too long for them or too short for them, especially the tall guys, and they have to bend way over to hit a short iron, or their driver's too long because they're not very tall, and you have all these variables involved, and so I try to put them in the proper posture and they just can't get there. So I'm going to refer you to making sure that going through our custom fitting process, we fit you based on your body size, because we do all those measurements, to a 45-degree 6-iron angle, and we build off of that so that we can get you an ideal fitting. When you have clubs that are ideally fit for you, it makes it so much easier to get into the address position, number one, and people stop asking, how far do I stand from the ball? Because let me show you something. Now I'll just grab my 8-iron, and obviously, it's shorter than my 6-iron, so there's different lie angles involved. My body, believe it or not, feels the exact same with an 8-iron as I do a 6-iron, but what's determining when I put the club down is the club sits on the ground. It orients itself correctly. See that when I put the club down? And then I step into there. If I was too close, see the club's not sitting right, I would back up a little bit. If I was too far, see the club's not right, I would scoot up a little bit. Do you see how the club is helping me determine how I feel at address? I'm really relying on my club to tell me the plane it wants to sit on as I address the golf ball here. So when people ask me the question, well, how do you know how far you stand from it? I'm like, this tells me, right? Or this tells me. This is my 6-iron. So my 6-iron says, well, you got to sit like that. I can't make it go like that. So, okay, there it goes. It sits better right there. And then my address feels better there, and that's about 45-degree spine angle. And then let's grab my driver. And if I had a driver, obviously this is the longest club in the bag. And look how long that club is. Well, I set that down, and I still feel bent forward, but it's a little bit more stood up than a 6-iron. My club is helping me. The plane of the club, the length of the club is helping me understand how far to stand from the ball. So I have some reference points for this, and I can give you it's in the Single Plane Academy. You can find the reference for distance from the ball. We work off of a 26-inch toe line to ball position for a 6-iron, and then we work off of that as our basic standard measurement. A driver, for example, I'm about 36 to 38 inches from toe line to ball. So just keep in mind, it's hard for me to tell you how far to stand from it. You'll be further from a longer club, about 26 or so from a 6-iron, and a little closer with the short irons. But until you get clubs that really fit you well, you'll have trouble with distance from the ball. Get clubs that fit you really well, and you have less and less trouble with that question. And you can check out the chart if you want to see what I reference as the ideal distance from the ball and work from there.